Katy Perry is fuming, and for good reason. Word on the street is that not only did Orlando Bloom break things off with her, but he's already cozying up with none other than Sydney Sweeney. Yeah, you read that right. And just when it couldn't get any messier, folks are whispering that things between Orlando and Sydney are already heating up fast. The two were spotted out together, looking way too close on what people are calling a full-blown romantic stroll. Just days. After the Katy and Orlando breakup hit the headlines, the gossip mill is on fire. And what's bubbling up might just turn into the biggest celebrity drama of the year. You're not ready for this whirlwind, because once you hear the full story, your jaw is gonna hit the ground. Here's the scoop. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom? Yeah, they're done. Officially. It's over. After nearly 10 years together, the pop princess and the Hollywood heartthrob are walking away from what looked like a forever kind of love. And let's be real, this split ain't looking clean. Sure, sources close to them told Us Weekly that the breakup was amicable, but don't let that fool you. Behind the scenes, it's giving serious chaos vibes. Word is, signs of trouble were flashing for a while now, but nobody saw this twist coming. Not with her in the picture. This split didn't just happen overnight. No way. Insiders say the tension had been bubbling for months, and now it's clear. This breakup? It was written in the stars for a while. Things between Katy and Orlando had been drifting apart, especially since Katy hit the road for her big tour earlier this year. Word is she's crushed, but also kind of relieved. She's upset, yeah, one source revealed, but at the same time, she's thankful to dodge another divorce. And can you blame her? Her last split with Russell Brand was straight up traumatic. Nobody forgets that chaos. So now, with this breakup, she's treading real careful. The wild part, even though they share a 4-year-old daughter, Daisy Dove, Katy and Orlando have reportedly been living separate lives for a while now. And it's not just emotionally, physically too. Katy's been deep in her tour grind, and sources say she even started renting out her Westcott estate in Montecito. That same house she and Orlando once dreamed of turning into their cozy family nest? Yeah, that vision's done. Completely shelved. Sure, they were staying mostly at another Montecito spot, but behind the scenes, the emotional distance had already hit hard. It wasn't just about different addresses, it was about two people no longer walking the same path. Now, Katy's pouring all her energy into the stage, using the spotlight to keep her mind off the breakup. But here's where the real drama pops off. Just days after the world found out they had split, Orlando didn't waste a second. He jumped right back into the Hollywood scene like nothing happened. And the timing of it all? Way too juicy to ignore. Orlando Bloom didn't just lay low after the breakup. Nope. He hopped on a jet straight to Italy to attend none other than Jeff Bezos's over-the-top wedding. And trust, this wasn't just any guest list. It was packed with A-listers, straight-up celebrity royalty. But the real spotlight? It landed on one very unexpected reunion. Orlando and Kim Kardashian. Cameras caught Orlando, freshly single, pulling Kim in for multiple air kisses, looking real familiar, as he reunited with the Kardashian crew before the big ceremony. And let's not act brand new. These two? They've got history. Flashback to last September at the Caring Foundation's Caring for Women dinner. Remember that? Orlando was caught blatantly eyeing Kim's legendary backside, and he wasn't even slick about it. What made it wild was that Katy Perry, his fiancée at the time, was standing right next to him. The whole moment went viral, and while Katy laughed it off back then, joking she approved of the cheeky peek, that moment hits way different now. So what's the tea? Fast forward to now, and that flirty glance ain't looking so innocent anymore, especially when you realize Kim and Katy were seen hanging out together recently in Paris, vibing during Lauren's bachelorette trip. Whatever bond they had? It might be crumbling fast because under the Italian sun, Kim and Orlando looked way too cozy. Smiles, laughs, eye contact, all in front of the entire elite crowd. But wait, there's more. Orlando wasn't just catching up with the Kardashians, he was fully basking in his bachelor era. And guess who was right there next to him? Sydney Sweeney. The two were seen casually strolling through the dreamy streets of Venice, looking like a couple straight out of a movie. And the craziest part? This was just days after the breakup news hit the public. Fresh off his breakup with longtime partner Katy Perry, and just months after Sydney Sweeney quietly ended her engagement to Jonathan Davino, Orlando Bloom is out here living like heartbreak never even happened. If he's hurting, he's hiding it real well. At Jeff Bezos's ultra-lavish wedding bash, Orlando was all smiles, looking unbothered, working the crowd, and even fitting in a chill boys' day with Leonardo DiCaprio. But the moment that had everyone's eyes pop? That surprise stroll with Sydney. Yep, that stroll. Orlando and Sydney were snapped walking through the romantic streets of Venice looking way too comfortable. The vibe? Effortless and in sync, like they'd done it 100 times before. Sydney pulled off a full-on Euro summer fantasy, rocking a flowing floral dress with a cinched waist and a bold neckline that turned heads in every direction. Add in those red leather mules, oversized black shades, and a sleek little purse, and boom, what could have been a chill walk turned into a paparazzi frenzy. Fans are buzzing, and for good reason. Sydney's clearly in her freedom era. She's glowing. After breaking off her engagement earlier this year, insiders said she just wasn't feeling it. And in her own words to the Sunday Times, she said, "I'm learning a lot about myself, spending more time with my friends, and I'm loving it. It's giving single, strong, and unstoppable." Meanwhile, Orlando, the man's straight up thriving. Coming off nearly a decade with Katy, he's stepping back into the spotlight like a pro. That Venice moment with Sydney? Cameras caught every angle. And now the internet is going wild with theories. Are they just friends? Something more? One thing's for sure. This breakup glow-up is next level. So what's really going on here? Just two single celebs crossing paths, or the start of Hollywood's next shocking couple? Because behind the scenes, the fairy tale between Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom had been falling apart for a while. Fans just didn't see it coming. While the public was still dreaming of wedding bells, those close to the couple knew the truth. It was an unspoken thing. They'd been having issues for a long time, one source spilled. And even though Orlando tried to keep things under wraps, it didn't go unnoticed. People started seeing him out and about without Katy, especially after she hit the road for her massive tour back in April. That distance, it wasn't just physical, it got deep. The space between them grew, and insiders say it started eating away at what was left of their connection. Katy was busy chasing career goals, and they just weren't spending time together. That caused major tension, the source said. And here's the kicker. They were engaged for 6 years and never locked in a wedding date. No plan, no timeline, no ring exchange. Eventually, Orlando had enough. He was over it, the insider said straight up. Over the years, Katy and Orlando didn't hide the ups and downs. They even talked openly about doing the work to keep things going. Back in April 2023, Katy posted on Instagram about how they kept showing up for each other, trying to make it work. But sometimes, effort just ain't enough, especially when two people are headed in totally different directions. Orlando himself even gave a peek behind the curtain during his April 2024 chat on Trevor Noah's What Now podcast. And the way he spoke? It sounded like a man already at peace with the end. On the What Now podcast, Orlando got real. He didn't sugarcoat a thing. He opened up about how hard it was trying to juggle two huge careers, admitting straight up that Katy's world is like a whole universe on its own. He even described how he tried to hold her hand and walk her back to the sand pit, where they could just build something simple together, like a peaceful little sandcastle. But that peaceful moment, it never came. By June, the quiet rumors had turned into full-blown headlines. It was official, the two were living completely separate lives. They were spending less and less time together and emotionally drifting apart. That glamorous love story, with red carpet kisses and sweet public moments, it faded, slowly, then all at once. After 6 years of being engaged, having one beautiful daughter, and making so many public promises of forever, the last page in their love story has finally been turned. Katy Perry and Orlando Bloom have officially closed the book on their relationship. But here's where things take a different turn. Even though the romance is done, they're still showing up for what really matters, their daughter, Daisy. And from what insiders are saying, Katy and Orlando are handling co-parenting like pros. Mature, chill, and focused on keeping Daisy's life as steady as possible. They're still very much in touch and co-parenting Daisy together, a source told Us Weekly. No drama, just dedication. In fact, before Orlando jetted off to that star-studded Bezos wedding, he even brought their 4-year-old to visit Katy on tour. That's real love, just in a different form now. But even as Orlando played the role of devoted dad, the buzz around him and Sydney refused to die down. Just days after dropping Daisy off with Katy, he was back in the headlines, this time for being spotted once again with Sydney Sweeney. The two were seen leaving a trendy rooftop bar in Rome late at night, trying to keep things low-key. But when you're them, that's impossible. Eyewitnesses said they were laughing, leaning in close, and clearly vibing. No PDA, but the chemistry? Unmistakable. Fans online are already calling them the next Hollywood power duo, while others are side-eyeing the timing hard. Some are even asking, was this connection already brewing before the breakup? Meanwhile, Sydney's camp is staying silent. No reps, no statements, no denials. And that silence? It's only making things hotter. People are digging up old interviews, past photos, any clue that might connect the dots between these two. One throwback shot from a Vanity Fair party last year shows them talking in a corner, smiling like they already had some inside joke. It's fueling all kinds of theories. Back on Katy's side, she's keeping it professional, but fans noticed she unfollowed Sydney on social media. Quick fingers caught it before it disappeared, and just like that, the internet exploded. Was it petty? Was it personal? Or just a coincidence? Either way, people are reading everything now. With Katy deep in her tour and Orlando lighting up the European nightlife with Sydney, the stage is set for one of the most unexpected plot twists in recent celeb drama. One thing's for sure, this story's not cooling off anytime soon. Even with all the headlines and jaw-dropping sightings, the star-studded Bezos wedding sent one message loud and clear. Katy and Orlando might be done romantically, but this isn't some bitter breakup. According to insiders close to the pair, no one in their circle was shocked. The tension had been building for a long time, and Katy's non-stop touring schedule just made that emotional distance feel even wider. But through it all, there's one thing they've both agreed on without hesitation. Daisy comes first. They're not flipping their lives upside down. No messy custody battles, no wild lifestyle changes. A source said they're keeping their homes in Montecito and sticking to a routine that gives Daisy stability. And in a town known for messy celebrity breakups, this calm, respectful approach is rare. Yes, Katy's still hurting, that much is clear. But insiders say she's also low-key relieved. She didn't want to walk through another painful divorce. Her past split from Russell Brand was brutal. That was the worst time in her life, one source shared. Compared to that, this breakup, while still emotional, feels far more peaceful. Katy and Orlando's journey started way back in January 2016, when they were first spotted getting flirty at a Golden Globes after-party. They hit a bump in 2017, split briefly, and then reunited in 2018. By 2019, Orlando dropped down on one knee and proposed with a romantic Valentine's Day surprise. The next year, the couple announced they were expecting, and in August 2020, they welcomed their daughter, Daisy Dove Bloom. Now, even though the romance has run its course, both Katy and Orlando are locked in as co-parents. They're staying chill, focused, and most importantly, united for Daisy. The love story may have ended, but the respect, still standing strong. So what's your take on this celeb shakeup? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't miss the rest of our stories. We've got even more Hollywood heat coming your way.